This is Askcarterlaw back again to explain your favorite legal hot topics. Today we'll be explaining the law of sexual assault and the pending matters against Chris Brown and Trey Songz. So before we get started, to help you kind of follow this a little easier, there are a total of 5 people currently complaining against both singers. So there are 3 people currently complaining against Trey Songz and 2 against Chris Brown. They are all actually being represented by the same attorneys, Ariel Mitchell and George Rebeck. And all of their complaints, for the most part, took place at different times in different places. And so that is actually a part of the issue in this case, is that, you know, at least for Chris Brown and Trey Songz, that you have a lot of the people saying the same things about them at different times in different places. And a lot of times people say, where there's smoke, there's fire. Obviously, they're innocent until proven guilty on the criminal side. But also, to be clear, as I made it clear in my explanation of other cases where you can file civilly and criminally, in this case, these are just civil complaints. A lot of the and even with some of the civil complaints that were attempted to be filed against them, they were, outside of the statute of limitations. But in terms of criminal, there've been no criminal charges. There are no criminal cases. This is all civil, pending against Chris Brown and Trey Songz. So I wanted to kind of make that clear in the beginning. So let's walk through these various civil cases, starting with Trey Songz. So Trey Songz has, again, currently 3 people, accusing him of sexual assault. The first one in March of 2016 in California, after party with a woman he had already been dating and already had a consensual sex relationship with, said that it turned violent, it turned unconsensual when he anally raped her in 2016. She's a Jane Doe. We don't have the name of that person right now. So that's March of 2016. And then in December 31st of 2017, New Year's Eve 2017, Miami nightclub in Florida, there's a woman named Jahara who is now saying that, again, she was raped. And so those are the first 2 cases against Trey Songz that are currently pending. And then just a few weeks ago, maybe at the end of 2021, there was a track star by the name of Dylan Gonzalez who then came out and said 9 years ago she was also raped in Las Vegas at a very popular hotel. And this should not be confused with a separate November 2021 allegation that the police are actually looking into. So her sexual assault complaint is something that happened to her 9 years ago. It's completely separate from a current Las Vegas investigation that's pending for something that just happened this past November, allegedly with the after party with Trey Songz. So just so that you don't confuse those 2 things. And so again, just focusing on the civil, you have the Jane Doe in California, you have Jahara in Florida, and then you have Dylan Gonzalez in Vegas. And so he's going to now be facing these 3 different complaints civilly. Obviously, he's going to have an option to settle and not take this to court, but he also has the right to take this to court. So it should be interesting to see how this happens. Dylan, who's the person who just most recently came out and spoke about this, said that she was actually really good friends with him. And so she just kind of, distanced herself after it happened. But when she kept hearing about some other stories, she decided it was finally time for her to speak up. So this is, again, all alleged in what she's claiming. And so that's Trey Songz. Moving on to Chris Brown. Chris Brown currently has 1 case and then another case pending, again, both civilly. These actually took place the same weekend in the same place. So one woman obviously is claiming, the one that has already filed is claiming, she wants $20 million for being drugged and then raped and then, told to take a Plan B pill. And then her seeing him again and him trying to allegedly corner her again. Obviously, he wasn't successful, but she's claiming, again, a Diddy after party, something I didn't mention. Some of the parties that even Trey Songz is being alleged to have sexually assaulted people involved Diddy parties. So it's interesting that Diddy's parties are tied to the majority of the allegations across these 5 cases. But in any event, Chris Brown is being sued for $20 million from this woman who, again, said she was drugged and raped. And then there was another woman at that party that same weekend that said, hey, I can witness that actually happened. I wasn't raped, but I was given a pill. A pill was put in my mouth by Chris Brown, so I was also drugged. So she's not obviously going to be claiming sexual assault, but being drugged. And so, again, those are the 2 cases with Chris Brown. $20 million lawsuit. I believe even Trey Songz, one of his lawsuits, is $20 million. I'm not sure how much money as of now the other 2 women in the Trey Songz allegations are asking for. But either way, there are a lot of similarities. Same lawyers, same kind of amounts of money, all coming out of, or not all, most of them, coming from, Diddy after parties. So there's clearly a pattern here, regardless of what facts are actually going to be established if there's ever a case. Something I do want to point out regarding the sexual assault allegation cases with both Chris Brown and Trey Songz. A lot of times people say, well, why are they civilly suing? Why don't they want them to go to jail? Why are they only suing for money? Unfortunately, victims cannot make prosecutors in these various states, California, Florida, Vegas, all these complaints where they're being found. They can't make them investigate it, and even if they do investigate it, they can't make the prosecutor actually bring criminal charges against these people, especially when you have cases that have happened years and years and years ago, which typically happen in sexual assault cases. Sexual assault victims typically do not come out, immediately, right? So a lot of times it's the alleged incidences are so far removed in time that prosecutors do not think that they will be able to make a strong case, and so they don't think it's worth it to actually file the charges against these people. And so if you're wondering that is essentially why. I don't think any of these will come to trial. I think it would make more sense to settle out of court regarding these issues. But again, both singers have the right, if they feel like they didn't do anything, or they felt like if they did do something that was consensual, they do have the right, to see this all the way through. To follow stories like this, you can continue to follow us on our social media handles at Askcarterlaw or on our website, www.askcarterlaw.com.